nothing, just in and out, yeah.
As you don't.
Cause he's had them for forever, so he'd make Reed laugh when he was a little baby, just pop them out kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order. Any additions or changes to the agenda? I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion carries. We don't have any public items of discussion, so we'll move on to the board items of discussion and the administrator concerns.
I kind of put a list of things together that have been getting in the way of getting things done in a timely and efficient manner here over the last couple of months. We've had a lot of disruptions and distractions that have caused inefficiencies in the workplace and a little bit of a difficult working environment. First off, and the biggest thing is that I had sent a confidential email to the board about some things that were going on with some staff. That got back to staff before I could address the issue with the staff members that were concerned. So now it cannot be addressed the way that it needs to be. It's caused disruption in the disciplinary process. It's limited how we deal with the issues that were addressed in the email, and now there's another big long letter to the editor in the newspaper today also about that issue. If I had been able to address it the way that I was going to address it and had been working with the lawyer on addressing it, I think we could have avoided a lot of that. But now we've kind of crossed that bridge, and because I was working with the lawyer on how to address it, it didn't get addressed until after it was back to staff. So that's caused a big issue for us. I've gotten some complaints about spending. My job is to prioritize the things that we need to do. I was hired to get the district back into financial shape. I think we've done that. I don't think we've bought anything that was frivolous. We've bought things that were, I think, well needed. I think we've done a lot of repairs that have been skipped for a while. We're going to spend a lot of our 1 cent sales tax money and our PEPAL money, but those things just need to be done.
What specific items were complained on as far as frivolous spending?
I've had to get back to me if there's been complaints that the drone that we bought was a toy for the administration. That was bought specifically for curriculum with the high school. Part of it was for the mass media class, the yearbook, and we'll use it for other things too. But that was the biggest complaint. Again, other things that we don't want to spend that money where we have all kinds of. That still comes out of the 1 cent sales tax and the PEPAL, but then we're willing to throw money at other things like paying the bus drivers more than what the board had agreed to pay them. So that we have to be careful with those things. Shelley and I spend a lot of time every month working our financials out and understanding and knowing where we are. So we have a real good idea where we're at financially, and we're not going to go out and just spend money to spend money. We've already had a discussion about where we're going to be at next year with special ed money, so we know how much money. We have a good idea now what we can bill for Medicaid next year, which is probably going to be all of it, just because of our numbers have gone down in our special ed classrooms. So, had a lot of issues with chain of commands. I've had board members tell me that they're getting numerous complaints from both communities, but there's no complaints coming to myself, Dan, or Amy. That tells me that people aren't following the chain of command, and that's kind of what happened with the email thing too, because some of that came about because somebody came to a board member with a complaint instead of addressing it in the right manner. So that tells me that people are circumventing the process. They're undermining the authority of the administration, and we can't have that, and we can't run effectively if we're going to run that way. If I can't deal with people, if the administration can't deal with people in a manner that we need to, that's going to cause problems. People aren't always going to like us. They're not going to like the things that we do and say sometimes. That just goes with the territory. We can't make everybody happy. If we're going to try to make everybody happy, we're going to have a real problem here before too long. It'll be chaos. So as much as we'd like to, we can't always say yes. I've gotten demands from individual board members, and I've spent some time talking with different organizations about how to deal with these things, and they said the best way to do it is to just address it, so we're addressing it. I've had basically demands from board members to make sure that all staff, bus drivers, cooks, janitors, everybody are included in all staff emails. They have been, at least since the first of this year when we changed to Google. I'm not sure about last year. I've gotten basically what seems like directives and emails that, you know, we need to do this way, or we can handle this way. And then I'll check on this week, that type of thing. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind being checked upon, but I work for the whole board, not for individual board members. You know, we have to all be on the same page, and when we're not all on the same page, it's hard for us to focus on our job when we're getting things from several different directions. So we know, you know, we need to be functioning as a board better than what I think we are right now. Had some negative comments directed back towards Shelley and myself, that we're not being honest with the board, or that we're twisting facts, not giving accurate information. I feel like everything that we do sometimes, if we say it, it's wrong. If somebody else comes to a board member and says it, then it's automatically taken as that's accurate, when that's not the case. I've invested a lot in moving my family here, buying a house, the time I put in to getting us to where I think we need to be for this year. I'm not going to lie to the board. That'd be the dumbest thing I could do. I don't mind a lot of things, but being told that I'm not being honest really irritates me. So this week I had somebody talk to me. We have things that were said in our exempt session at our last board member that have come back to me through members of the Clarksville community. Somebody that was in that exempt session talked to somebody in the Clarksville district about something that was said there. I know it happened because that's the only place these discussions were had. We can't have those things going on. It's a violation of the trust of everybody that's in there, and I think it's also a violation of our closed session laws. I know it's exempt session, doesn't have to be recorded, but it's still private. I think that's about all I got for now. I think we've covered everything else. But we have to be on the same page and working as a team, or things are going to get really difficult. And things are starting to get difficult for me because we have staff members that have seen other staff members circumvent the process. We have to make sure that if somebody comes with an issue, they get sent back to where they need to be. I know that our transportation director sent an email to the board today because he's frustrated with it also. That's what I had for that.
For any questions, if anybody's got them?
Yeah.
Any questions for Mr. Foster?
I didn't see the email.
I think he sent it to your North Butler school email.
Okay.
So you'll have to check that one. I'm almost positive he sent it to all of your North Butler email addresses.
Yep, because I had Mr. Foster forwarded to me in my office one, so I can get it.
So, but if you need me to do that, I can. But he's got bus drivers pitted against each other now because you got one coming to a board meeting and saying they're speaking for everybody, and then you have 4 more that are really upset about that because they don't want somebody else to put the words in their mouth. And that was before he saw the letter to the editor today.
For one board member speaking for all board members, I had a question too about communications that are out there about the board as a whole. Is there a possibility for the future that we could see that before it's put out for the community? You know, like when you say the board didn't know anything about this certain issue, like, should we know ahead of time that we're saying that or not?
I don't know, I don't know what you're talking, I mean.
Yeah, I guess
specific.
yeah. What Mr. Foster said, I guess I trust what he's saying because, you know, we've hired him to do his job to manage us up here. You know, so if he's telling us something, we've got to believe him until we've got reason to otherwise, I guess, so.
And if you're talking about the
The
place,
blog.
the blog, I talked to Eric and I talked to Brian before I posted anything in there.
Right, but Eric can't speak for all of us, is what I'm saying. You can put anything out there, but to say the board says this or whatever, like, we never, you know, we never said that. Did we?
Well, that was about the supplemental contract, correct?
Yes,
Yeah. So the board had made that decision before you got on the board with us.
yeah.
Because that was made back in May of last year. So as a board, yes, we had made that decision.
It just was about that we didn't know that, you know, everybody was being paid, double paid.
We didn't. None of us knew that. And according to what the board voted on last May, there was nothing that allowed us to do that.
I'm just still confused by that because it has been going on for 30 years or since
I didn't know anything
1985.
about Honestly, I didn't.
And is that in writing, is it in
Until
writing
April,
someplace?
And that's when I went and talked to him.
No, it's not. That's the other thing, like the contract is very, I mean, I've never seen this contract before, and so now I'm reading it, and you know, we say we guarantee 5 hours a day, or we do this, and I'm not even specifying one specific contract, but even like the classified staff, you know, you kind of said you just jot it on the side, which is fine, you know, that's what we always do, but like legally, when you pick up that piece of paper and it's not specified, that's the only thing that I'm worried about, like, you know, as a district as a whole, we have to protect ourselves with what's
Well,
on that paper.
we've gotten copies of the contracts from other
And we
districts.
can fix it for next year.
And some of them,
everything.
some of them spell it out better, some of them are the same as what we have. So, I mean, changing that so it's all spelled out isn't an
Right.
issue.
But I don't think we should blame anyone or necessarily say we didn't know when our district has been doing that for, you know, for a long time. I mean,
But that doesn't mean it's right.
it might not,
We did not know.
right,
didn't know.
but
I
I knew, it became a prize to me, so I don't know that I would say I didn't know. I mean, but I'm new on the board, so,
So when you did the billing, you were just doing hours? Or, I mean, I guess I don't understand how you guys caught it then, or how we didn't
Because
know.
Shelley started doing payroll.
So before you weren't doing payroll, you didn't know. Who was doing payroll?
I think we're all here for we're all here for the good of this district, and we all wanna work together. But I mean, if something is said about something, you know, money or whatnot, I might check with somebody else, I might call the ISD because I'm new, you know what I mean, I'm new. And so I wanna know everything that I can know and study and, you know, and I'm gonna check up just to make sure that it's all jivey. Because you
And-
do,
and that's your right to
you're,
do that.
you know, people are, you know, you've got this and this and this, and you're trying to get it all straight, and you're trying to ask the questions to,
But we gotta be careful how we get that information back into the community, because this time it's caused a lot of grief. You know, their bus drivers,
but where did that come, that didn't come from me, that came from going to the bus drivers and saying that we're gonna change their wage in the middle of the year, that's where it all started.
but it shouldn't have been that way at all this year.
Well, I don't know, I wasn't here when the contracts were made, but the contracts don't specify one way or another.
But on their
But-
timesheets, it does.
Right on the bottom of the timesheet that they fill out every month, it has what the rate is for each individual
Right.
activity,
But
the
it-
route, sub-route, special ed
Where
route.
does it say 5 hours, like when?
It doesn't, we know
activities
that.
start? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's in the board minutes.
I don't know, all I'm saying is the
I know it's in the
reason,
board
the
minutes
reason
from
this all came to
May
where it
19th.
is because of that.
And this isn't the first issue we found with different things. You know, the first year Mr. Foster was here a year ago, everything we got into, we had issues like this.
Right.
So, you know, it's just, this isn't the first time we found errors in the way things are being done.
You know, on our June agenda, we're gonna go through the audit from this year. And on that audit, we got written up for requesting too much money for at-risk. Well, it wasn't that anybody was requesting too much money, it was that nobody was doing anything with at-risk.
Right.
There was nothing set up, so now we have an at-risk person in each building, and we've got the counselors working in each building. You know, we've addressed that issue, but we're still getting written up for it again here, you know, a year and a half after we started addressing it.
And the thing about asking questions, I mean, as a new board member too, I feel like I have to not saying I don't trust you, it's just because of the last superintendent, you know, a lot of people blame the board for not asking questions. So I feel like being new here,
I think some of
ask.
it's the way the questions are being asked and the statement, because if I read something that says, you know, I'm not accusing, but this isn't accurate, well, that to me is saying that I'm not being honest with you.
I think the hard thing is with email, and we all have had instances where wording comes out differently than we perceive it to come out.
I would agree with that.
So, like, we are all here to work together for this school. We are all at this table, I believe that. We are all here to work for our students. So that's what we have to do. And we have to make it right, and we have to follow the policies, and we have to follow, you know, we all work together and we'll do the right thing.
And I wouldn't say the previous boards hadn't been asking questions, the
No.
previous superintendent, because there was a lot of questions asked, and
Right.
we fought hard for answers, we never got them.
Right,
And that's why we made a change.
right.
But that's a long process, isn't it, Christie? Yeah,
Yes.
you Laura was in on it too.
That was a mess.
There's a lot of change that's been going on, and
And
it's working
And-
very well,
right,
as
and-
we are moving forward.
But we're still
And
working
it's gonna
through
be
some of those
constant.
We are
issues,
moving
yeah.
forward.
it's gonna be constant, because now we're looking at our enrollments down from last year. We don't know where it's gonna be at in the fall yet. But over the course of the next year, we're gonna have to make more adjustments because of enrollment. You know, whether we've done enough already with closing the building and the other stuff, I don't know yet. But I'll know that by mid-November next year, and we'll start making adjustments for that. But we're not in a place where we needed to panic this year, because we are able to have the budget guarantee for a year, and that gives us some time to figure out what we're gonna do and make good decisions instead of, oh dang, we gotta jump on this, we gotta cut 6 jobs. No, we don't. We just need to sit back and see what happens, and see where the cards fall over the next 8 months here.
And the other thing that I would like to ask for the future, maybe like if a contract thing comes up, not like a specific overpayment that you know is obvious, but if a contract thing like that comes up, is that appropriate for it to come to the board first, just to verify, you know, that it wasn't in the contract or it was, so that everybody understands before we go to the staff? Or was the way it was handled appropriate?
I don't know. I haven't either, but there's nothing in policy or with what the board passed last May that allowed us to do that. So if we're not allowed to do it, we can't do it, so we have to stop. And we have to stop now. Otherwise, we're violating our own policy. So that's why I did what I did.
Okay, thank you.
And that's why we talked about it at the last board meeting.
Anything else? Okay, with that, we'll move into our exempt session, so I'm gonna have to ask all of you to leave for a few minutes, please.